figure it out. But that code stays up here.
Oh, okay.
So you can keep using, like, if you already connected,
Oh,
you
okay.
can still just punch that code in.
Okay. Hi, Laurel. Do you guys, Eric and Nick, no school because of the weather, or just no school?
No school because of the weather.
You guys are wimps.
I know. Yeah. The roads are completely fine.
You got probably by the afternoon, especially, right? But the snow was on Monday, and sleet and stuff. So it's like 1 inch of snow and they closed Nashville.
Basically, that's about how it works here.
The Grand Ole Opry is closed.
The entire city is just shut down.
Basically, it's really special.
Are there any plows in Nashville?
How are you, Laurel? Okay?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so get those chapters, okay?
I'll be at school tomorrow. There's no appointment or anything I have to go to.
Okay. Well, thanks for now I know some. I can
Sorry,
be flexible.
I haven't even really explained to my school and all that. So.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, that's but it's good that now I have an understanding, I guess. So.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm sorry. So school closed tomorrow, or hopefully should be back in session, huh?
We'll be back in session.
We hope, yeah.
The public schools might still be closed.
Oh, they will be.
And Monday you had no school anyways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, what a waste of a weather day, but you had a weather day today, so at least it wasn't a waste. Can't waste those weather days. So why is it? You don't have to make up school days, do you, that you miss, or
no, we don't.
No, I think there are 3 or 4 days built into the school year for weather stuff. Something like that.
Tornadoes.
I don't know. Yeah. The off chance. Yeah.
F5 tornadoes. Didn't you have a tornado go through Nashville, the downtown, or close to it a few years ago?
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, that was before I moved here, but I've heard stories about that tornado that did just apparently bulldoze right through downtown.
Wow. But hello, folks.
Hi.
Hello, Michael, Jane Ashley.
Hello.
How are you all?
Pretty good.
Weather-wise, it was a miserable day yesterday, wasn't it? Was it 40s or maybe upper 30s, 40s and raining?
It was crazy yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
It said it dropped 18 degrees within a 2-hour time span. So.
You had a frontal passage.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Mm-hmm.
It was very bizarre. It was cool.
You had a frontal passage. Hi, Britt. Okay, so Britt, you never answered me back, or maybe you did. Why can't you take the test on Thursday?
My sister and I are going to visit a college.
All right. I guess you're gonna have to take it to. I guess so. I mean, I wish we could all take it the day that we were supposed to, but okay. All right. So you'll take it on tomorrow. It has to be proctored.
Yep, I already talked to the proctor.
Hour. Okay. You two in Nashville, you're gonna be. I mean, is that Mrs. Davis in the back? Jane Ashley. So Kathy, you'll be able to proctor the exam on Thursday.
Yes.
3 to 4. And you got the exam.
Yeah.
Okay.
I has not gotten it.
Oh, okay. I didn't see. So okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you
good.
so much.
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you. And you Nashville guys, I never heard back from your academic person. Can you check? I mean, I was asking that he or somebody proctor the exam during your class time.
I want to say he sent us an email about that saying he would. Is that right, Eric?
Yeah, I'm forwarding that email to you right now.
Okay.
It says
so,
that.
I mean, we're meeting in class. I want, I'll be here, but I do want somebody there too as well. So, okay. All right. And hopefully you'll be in class, right, Laurel? So, I don't have a quiz because I want to go over some things and I want to do another frontal analysis, okay? And hint, you think, because there could be one on the test, okay? So I decided not to take the time for the quiz. So here was, as you can see on this is a forecast sounding. Okay, so this is this was over the weekend, and I looked at a forecast sounding. It's not the actual sounding for whatchamacallit. What do you mean for Nashville, valid 18Z on Monday. Okay, so Taft and Victoria, and is it Maddie beside you, or can you put her in this, make sure she's, oh, okay. I didn't know it wasn't working, the connection. So I just put it on the Polycom thing. Okay. Remember the test is Thursday during class, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it'll be during class. I'll be here. I didn't hear from Mrs. Wakeland, but I'm sure she's okay. She needs to be there. Somebody needs to be there to proctor.
Yeah,
okay.
Miss Wakeland said she was going to come in and do it.
15.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Is this through the Polycom or through the...
This is through the main thing now. Through the cable.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. All right. So... what kind of sounding, I mean, first of all, again, this is the forecasted sounding for, I guess it's noontime Nashville time, right? Mm-hmm. And question is, what kind of, first of all, would you predict precipitation for this time? I mean, the answer is yes, because you got precipitation. But if you were forecasting it, would you predict precipitation?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody, Mason. I'm sorry, I'm in the mood to ask around.
Is it something you're showing or the handout?
No, this is should be on the monitor.
Okay, we don't see it.
It's not working. Can we all see the SQT?
No.
Nashville?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, that's just gonna turn the TV off.
Yeah, but
okay.
Yeah, remember it. Come on.
All right, wait 1 second.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
If we go away.
If it hangs up.
Well, okay, I'll wait for you. I mean, I won't wait for you to get it fixed. So, Jane Ash or Michael, Would you predict clouds and precipitation or clear skies?
Yeah, I'd say there'd be clouds.
Why is that?
Looks like a cloudy day.
What's that?
Just looks like it'd have clouds.
Oh, okay, but can you tell me why other than it looks like it? Give me a specific meteorological reason. I'm trying to help you out on a test, because just say it looks like it's not
pinches together a long ways.
Okay, you would say the temperature, the dew point depression is 0. Okay. I'm just trying, if you write that on a test, that probably wouldn't be the best explanation. Okay. The dew point depression 0, which means the relative humidity is 100. Okay. What kind of precipitation would you predict, Mason? Can you see the screen now?
We could, but now now we can see it. I'd say freezing rain.
Why is that?
It goes above 0, but then it drops back below 0. So I don't think it'd have enough time to freeze before it hit the ground, completely freeze. So maybe sleet.
Yeah, I'm surprised. To me, this does seem like this cold layer is deep enough at the ground below 0 Celsius to have sleet, but apparently there was some freezing rain in Nashville, okay, which again sort of surprised me. Here's a map at 1 p.m., okay, Eastern time, which is noon Central, and tell me, I don't know, is this Nashville?
I think we're the one to the left of that.
The one just to the left.
To the west of that.
So right there. So you got sleet. But I think you did get freezing rain, didn't you? I think you did get freezing rain. How about this? Now notice, look at this. G, can you sort of find the front in Mississippi? Again, we're not doing isotherms, but just from the wind direction in Mississippi, can you find the front?
Yeah, I'll answer.
Jane
it's
Ashley.
It's north of Jackson, but south of Grenada in Starkville. So it's
is this Grenada?
Yes.
Yeah, look at it was 62. Is this Jackson, Mississippi?
Yes.
Okay, but you don't live there.
We do. We're 10 minutes north of Jackson, like the inner city Jackson.
So what was the high temperature for you? Oh, so it was in the 60s briefly, and then it dropped?
Yeah, it was really warm yesterday morning, and then it dropped at about 1 p.m. yesterday. Okay. So it was warm for the first half of the day.
Oh, okay. All right. So you did have a frontal passage, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
So here's the front. This is related to future homework. Okay, not necessarily the next one. But here's the front. Okay. And obviously here's the cold air, here's the warm air. What are the winds like can everyone see? Do I have everyone's attention in this class? What's the wind direction in the warm air? South of the front. Britt.
Oh, it's south.
Southerly. So when that warm air hits the cold air, what is it going to do? Is it going to just push the cold air northward? No, what's the wind direction in the cold air? It's southward. So where's that warm air going to go? Yes. Britt.
It's going to go southward.
but you have all that warm air heading north,
It's going to go
and that
parallel
cold
to the
air.
front.
It's going to. This is a side view. This is a side view of it. Here's the ground. Here is the cold air. Here's the warm air. Okay, this is the boundary between the warm and cold. So here's where the front is at the surface. So when this warm air hits the cold air, warm air is less dense than cold air, so it is going to be forced to rise. Okay, so you actually are going to have warm air above the cold air at one location. And you can clearly see this, is that you understand this side view. We call it a cross section. You can clearly see this warm air, and this is a sounding. Believe it or not, Jackson, Mississippi, they send out weather balloons twice a day. And can you see? I'm sorry, it's a different color background. I forgot to invert it. This is a little harder to see. But can you see the warm air above that cold air in Jackson, Mississippi? This is an actual sounding. Yeah, look, I mean, there is a massive temperature inversion, right? Here's the I ruined it a bit, but there's the temperature sounding. Notice how it's rapidly increasing with height. And so it's cold at the ground and warm. I mean, it's almost 15 degrees C at, where? At 950 millibars. Do you see that? 10 degrees C is 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees C is 70. So what, maybe 60 degrees? Well, that's where that warm air went. It is forced to go over the cold air. Hint, this is what some of the future assignments they're going to be hinting at or asking you to think about while I'm telling you. Okay? When that warm air hits the cold air, it can't just stop. It rises over the colder air. And that's what happened. Do you see this from my sounding? Okay. Okay. Well, enough of that. How about quickly review? Review.
Mr. Chang. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I just want to say,
how are you?
I made it. I'm late though, because I was stuck in traffic. But, yeah.
You're stuck in traffic. How come you don't go to class anymore? I mean, school anymore?
Well, we're off. We had break, so we're going back tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, you're gonna take the test tomorrow, or no, Thursday from 3:15 to 4:15 in study hall, I guess, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, assuming the wind is geostrophic, give me the wind direction.
Is the wind direction west or westerly?
Westerly would be, if you used an arrow.
Oh, no, wait, no. Yeah.
It would be this way.
Easterly, right? Easterly.
Nope. If the wind is geostrophic, it blows parallel to the isobars with lower pressure to your left. And what I say by lower pressure to your left, one way is if you're looking in the direction that the wind is blowing to, then lower pressures to your left. So the wind direction is, if you do it in terms of wind barbs, would be northeasterly. If you drew arrows, it would point this way. So, does that make sense? Wind is geostrophic. Winds are parallel to the isobars. I'm not going to do friction yet. I know that was in the reading, but I'm not. One more, okay? And then we're going to go on. So if you have trouble with this, ask me. I hear. What's the wind direction?
Mr.
Eric.
Chang,
Yes.
what are the pressure markings for those isobars you've drawn?
1,000 millibars, 1,004, 1,008.
We can't see the
Sorry.
screen.
What's that?
It's like some of it's cut off.
Okay.
Oh, I see. Yes, I have to be. You're right. I'm sorry. I did not center it. Thank you, whoever said that. So what's the wind direction? Eric, you were going to say, or are you the one that said the screen was cut off?
Part of that, but it's coming from the west.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. Right. On the test, I might either say draw wind barbs. When I say wind barbs, I mean what I just drew. Or if I say use arrows pointing in the direction that the wind is blowing to. Or if you said in words, you would say westerly. Okay. Now, let's say we have a low pressure center, which means the pressure is lower at the center than the surroundings. Again, I'll say 1,000, 1,004 millibars. Tell me the wind direction at A, B, C, and D. Is that a question or an answer, Britt?
Answer?
Are you asking a question or answering
No,
a
I was
question?
going to answer.
Okay, I'm going to give just a couple minutes, a minute for people to think. And I'll hum the Jeopardy song. Samir, what's the temperature outside right now? Well, it doesn't have to be an official observation.
Is
it 70s?
76.
What?
Well, see, I'm not jealous because I'd rather have. I loved it. It was 5 degrees for a high on Sunday. Sunday was good. So 74, that's perfect June weather, but not. Okay, at point A, Britt.
So all of the wind will be going counterclockwise?
I asked specifically at points, but okay. At A, would everyone agree that the wind is coming from the south? Now, I put a wind speed, but I don't know what the wind speed's going to be. And at B, do you agree the wind direction is coming from the east? Any questions, Fort Worth people? So then I hope by then you get the pattern. So the winds around a low. Winds around, why? Blow counterclockwise. I'll just write it like this. They go counterclockwise. Let's see that in a satellite photo. And I tried. There's not much going on in the continental United States. So the best I could do. This is by the way, this is an infrared photo. This is the geostationary. There's 2 geostationary satellites. Remember that? Oh, this is much better. Can you see the video going? It's smoother. Okay. And remember, geostationary, it hovers around the same spot above the Earth all the time. And it's the best I could show you is there where my icon is pointing there's a low pressure center there. Okay, I realize it's almost off the globe, but can you see a counterclockwise circulation to that? It may not, knock your socks off, but you should be able to see a counterclockwise circulation. Can you see that? And that is a low pressure center. Okay, so without going through the high pressure center, what do you think the circulation around a high is? Clockwise or counterclockwise?
Clockwise.
Clockwise. Around a high, it's clockwise. It's hard to show on a satellite photo because, by definition, high pressures usually mean nice weather. So I can't really show you clouds circulating around a high. I guess there are some highs. They're called dirty highs in the meteorology game that will produce some clouds. So, okay. Another question. This is from the last reading, but I never quite got to it, but it is important. I know I use the same numbers. Is this a pressure trough or a pressure ridge? And first of all, here's the axis. It's either a trough or a ridge. Here's the axis. Okay, it was in the reading. How do you tell whether this is a trough or a ridge? And by the way, a pressure trough is what? How do you define it? It's an elongated region of lower pressure.
Okay.
I never had this problem before where it would be cut off. Is it because of the well, no, wait, the cable's off. Oh, never mind. I don't know what I'm saying. So obviously this is Polycom.
Yeah, this is the Polycom.
Okay, so how do you determine if it's a trough or a ridge? Maddie.
A ridge is on a higher surface. And the trough is on a lower surface.
Sort of. I wouldn't want to talk about surfaces.
Or
But
height,
you sort of got the right. What do you do? The book said you draw a line perpendicular to the axis. You see that? And then what? You pick 3 points. 1, 2, and the third point is right on the axis. Remember this from the reading? And then how do you decide if this is a trough or a ridge? Notice how the pressure at 3 is less than the pressure at 1 and the pressure at 2.
Oh.
In other words, if you walk along this line, the pressure is lowest at the axis of the trough. at the axis, and because it's lower than any pressure on this line, then it's a trough. Does that ring a bell? Okay, so again, and the line has to be perpendicular to the axis. You can't like just have the line like that. It has to be perpendicular. So let me give you another one. These are not mountains. I'm trying to change the orientation so you don't get comfortable and it makes it easy. Tell me, is this a pressure trough or a ridge? First of all, I'll shut up after this. You draw the axis. Thank you. I thought I'd never had that problem before.
I don't remember having that problem before either. I can't see your clock.
Should I put this back in, or I don't think it made a difference?
Oh, I forgot to tell
Would it be a trough?
It's a trough. You know, the pressure here is 1,012. The pressure here, you know, I don't know. It's maybe 1,010. And what's the pressure here? Well, it's in between 1,004 and 1,008. So 1,006. The pressure trough. Is that clear?
What would a ridge look
how
like?
about, what's that?
Could you draw a pressure ridge?
Yep. Well, I won't tell you if it's a ridge or a trough.
Okay.
Although probably, since I'm tired of doing troughs, but I'm going to change the orientation so I don't get comfortable. 1,000, 996, 992. What's that? Oh. Yeah, that's weird. Has it ever snowed in Orlando? Samir? No. You have not lived life until you see snow.
Well, I've seen snow when I visited Canada.
Okay. What is this?
Ridge.
It's a ridge, isn't it? 992, 992. Again, right here, it's not on an isobar, but 1,000, 990, 998. It's higher pressure. Again, it's not a center because it's not like it's higher pressure everywhere It's not like the pressure in this direction is highest here. It's only highest along this direction. Okay, that's why it's called a ridge or a trough. It's not a high pressure center. How does that sound? So, an interesting phenomena happens along the East Coast and also in Texas too. Okay, I'll do the Appalachians, but it applies to Texas as well. Sorry, this is supposed to be the United States. Ooh, sorry, Samir, there's Florida. here's the Appalachian Mountains. Okay. And you have a high pressure center here. Okay. And the air flows clockwise. Okay. What's that? Is that cold air? This is Canadian air, dense air. Is it going to want to go over the mountains when it hits the mountains? No. It's very hard to get it to go. So it just doesn't stop. If you know physics, the momentum just doesn't disappear. So what it does is it drains down the mountains. Okay, I think I talked about this briefly. And so what you have is you have cold air dammed against the mountains. And what happens is you get a ridge of high pressure developing. I'll show another diagram in a second. But you have a high pressure ridge developing. It's very common, especially in the spring. And, I'm messing up the numbers, but you get the point. This is a ridge. Okay? Because there's cold air dammed against the mountains. All right, so here's a picture of it somewhere. Here we go. Here is the situation. The Appalachian Mountains. They're probably like here. Sorry, let me draw something. So here's probably the mountains. And this is the Appalachians. Here's North Carolina, Virginia. And notice, okay, now tell me, these are temperatures. Okay, it's not lines but shadings. But tell me, is this a thermal ridge or a trough? You can talk about pressure ridges and troughs. You can talk about temperature ridges or troughs. Is this a temperature ridge or trough? Here's the axis. Okay. Here's the axis of the ridge or trough. And tell me, is it a temperature ridge or trough? Let me erase that. I made it too big. Is that a thermal temperature ridge or trough? Yes, Eric.
It's a trough.
Yeah. You see why it's a trough? Because if you draw a line perpendicular, it is coldest right on that axis. The line, it's coldest on the line right at the axis. It's warmer there everywhere else. And so that means it's cold air. There's a trough of cold air going down the mountains. Well, it's like a little band of cold air, so it shows up on the pressure pattern as a pressure ridge. This is a ridge of high pressure. And it creates all sorts of weather problems that we'll discuss later on, freezing, rain, etc. But it happens along the Rocky Mountains too. This is sort of interesting, I think. Okay, look at this. This is the forecasted. This is the 5-day weather forecast. Actually, this is from the computer run yesterday. Or was it today? Maybe today. And first of all, what time is that valid for? 12Z Sunday. What time is that? Eastern time or Central time?
6 a.m.
6 or 7.
7 a.m., 6 a.m. Okay, first of all, do you see a big, cold, high pressure center in North Dakota? Those blue lines are isobar. Look at think about where the Rocky Mountains are. Do you see a cold air damming situation forecasted due to the mountains of the Rocky Mountains? You see a pressure ridge. And I'm not talking about this one. Do you see another pressure ridge that's probably caused by the Rocky Mountains? Absolutely. This is where the Rockies are, I think. And notice how that air going counterclockwise hits the mountains, can't go anywhere, so it drains down southward. And what you see is, in the pressure pattern, a ridge. That's quite common. I didn't realize how common it was. I thought it was just an East Coast phenomena. Can you see that? Here's the axis of the ridge. I'll try to use a different color, but poor color contrast, but can you see it? So there's cold air damming too. Okay. All right, last thing, and then I want to do the map. Okay, so we should have 20 minutes to do the map. In the reading, okay, so by the way, it's going to be really cold. Like, that cold air is coming down almost right towards Fort Worth. But in the reading, this is a side view. The air in this column above, if this column of air is denser than the surrounding air, okay, denser, less dense, what kind of pressure would you find at the surface? How do you get high pressure or low pressure? Low pressure means the air weighs less above you. High pressure means the air above you weighs more. So if you have denser air above you and less dense in the surrounding air, what does that mean about the pressure right at the surface underneath that denser column of air? Britt.
More.
Higher pressure.
What's that? High. And then if you have less dense air in a column of air, this is a side view, and then denser, if less dense air weighs less than denser air, you're going to have a low pressure center. So, this was in the reading, although it's not on the test. It'll be on the final. Tell me, how do you increase the pressure at the surface? If you want to increase the pressure at the surface, you have to do what about the density of the column of air above it?
More dense.
If you want to increase the pressure at the surface, you have to increase the density of the column of air above it. This wasn't in the reading. One way to increase the density of the air is to cool the air. That's one way. If you make the column of air colder above you, you will increase the density. If you want to make the pressure at the surface decrease, You want to decrease the density of the column of air. Maybe the reading didn't quite say it in this term, but this is my way of explaining. And one way to decrease the density of the column of air is to do what to the temperature of the air?
Heat it.
No.
You want to warm it. Because we always said warm air is less dense. I know they didn't talk, well, this is for future homework to think about. Okay? All right. So, do we have, again, this stuff, this last page is not on the test. Okay? Recognitions of troughs and ridges are. Okay, so I didn't quite get to what I wanted to, but that's okay. Let me go to the map. All right, here's that map. All right, fortunately, it's going to be just like what you have on the test, although this one is harder than the test. This is nice. It only has temperatures and wind direction and cloud cover. So first of all, let's draw some isotherms. Let's draw the 70, 60, 50. I'm going to get you start out with the 70 because it sort of meanders a bit. Okay. Here's the 70. The one I'm going to give you does not meander that much, so I'm not sure if I'm going to give you a hint. When I draw the 70, that means there's temperatures lower than 70 on one side and greater than 70 on the other. Some people still are having trouble with that. If I draw the 70-degree isotherm, sorry, I'm making a mess. It has to be less than 70 on one side and greater than 70 on the other side. I can't keep on going north. Don't draw this. I can't wander into northern Louisiana or southern Arkansas because I don't see temperatures greater than 70 on one side. I see temperatures less than. All right, so I'm going to go like this. E. Do you see why I had to do a little curvy thing around the 68 in western Louisiana? I mean, I had to account for that. It has to be colder than 670 on sort of like the north side and warmer than 70 on the south side, south of the 70 degree. I hope I'm not making mistakes. I'm going fast. 60. I mean, if you don't have to look. I'm only going to do, yeah, I didn't realize I can't fit the whole view. So 60. I'm not starting at you. You don't want to start in the middle of the map, but I am because you can't see the whole map. 50. $40. I guess I ended up doing the whole map, sort of. But you can't see it all at once. How's this? Is this sort of what... I mean, again, there are many ways of doing it. As long as you don't violate the rules, there is not one way of doing it. How does this look? Sort of okay?
Bye, Mr. Chang.
Okay, see ya. If we get done with this map, then I'll go back to what I had forgotten, but... How are you, Laurel, okay?
Good. Sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute.
That's okay. Most students wish I was on mute, so... Okay, so how, I mean, again, is that, I'm not saying you have to look at mine if you want to finish yours, but is mine sort of what you have? I'm not saying, I don't think I made any mistakes, okay? The map I'm going to give you is it's easier than this, okay? I'm not saying they're like straight line, they're not straight lines with no curves to it. But it's not as quite as, it's not going to be like the 70-degree one. Okay, so now, what's the first rule for locating a front? I'm not saying what kind of front it is yet. How do you locate a front?
Wind direction.
Wind direction. Okay, let's put that in the back of our mind. Because since I drew the isotherms, what's the rule involving isotherms?
Where there's a strong
temperature gradient.
Okay, all right, that's only part of it. There's a warm side and a cold side of a region of strong temperature gradient. So looking at your map, think about where's the strong temperature gradient and where is then the cold side and warm side. I would say the strong temperature gradients are sort of, I will use a different color. I'll use green, since there's no green fronts. I mean, sort of like this. Oops, I wandered a little bit too far. Something like that. Okay. So forget about this one. Okay, but where's the cold side? Where's the warm side? Once you think about that, then let's use the wind direction. There has to be a strong wind shift across the front. So you have to try to make those two rules co-located at the same place. You can't have two different fronts, one for the wind shift, one for the temperature gradients. You try to co-locate them. And then we'll decide what kind of front. I'm going to let you think about it. I'm not going to put up my answer yet, which isn't necessarily right. I mean, although I do have more experience, but I love doing it. There are meteorology classes where you just do this, and I just loved it, I remember. You know, you're not supposed to eat unless you can share it with everyone, Samir. I don't know how you're going to share it with everyone.
Sorry. I'll send it through the mail.
Maybe with those drones now, you can just deliver it from there. That would freak me out if I opened the door and this drone was delivering something. Of course, you probably have insects that large in Florida, so you wouldn't know if it was a drone or some big, I don't know, those killer bees or something. That's another reason not to live way deep in the South. Again, it's just the weather, the heat. So let's see. Warm side of the. Ooh, look at. I do see almost co-located the warm side of a region of strong temperature gradients and a wind shift. Something like that. And again, if you're a little bit to the right, that's okay. It just, here it's got to be in between the southwesterly and northwesterly winds. Here, I'm not sure. It may be the front is like right above it, that's why the winds, or actually I should probably move that slightly to the east of that westerly wind. It is westerly, and I see some winds west of that station to be westerly too. So in second thought, I would probably change it like that. What do you think? And so then what kind of front is that? What do you do? How do you determine what kind of front? Yes, Samir.
It's the direction of the cold air, like what the cold air is doing.
Yeah, and since the winds in the cold air are blowing toward the front, what kind of front is it?
Cold front.
Yeah. On the test, I'm not asking you to bring color pencils because, I'm not saying you, but I know it's sort of easy to say, oh, I see Joe Schmo is drawing blue lines, so it must be a cold front. So I would ask you just to draw a heavy line and then write down what kind of front it is. Okay, but it is a cold front. So I'll make this smaller so we can all see. So that's the kind of map that you will do. It took, 10 minutes, but partly we were talking and stuff. So you have 6 questions on the test. There's one map question just like this to be on, and then 5 others that are some essays and then SKUTs and stuff like that. Questions about the test? Any questions? I invite you to download the topics. All right. So let's not be late. I would like everyone to start on time, and except for Britt and Samir, but everyone else is going to be there, right? In school. Unless I don't think there's any other weather disasters awaiting us. So, yes, Britt. I can't hear you, Britt.
Can you still come to class that day?
What's that? No, because if you did, you'd just be watching us take the test. So.
Okay.
That's not very exciting. So.
But I know that we can only miss 4 classes or something, and I don't want to have that.
For that, this class on Thursday does not count as a class since it's not material. It's just taking a test.
Okay, great.
So, all right. So, any questions? So, if you have questions between now and then, call me. Okay. It may be hard to answer questions if you call me at like 2, well, whatever, 3:58 Eastern time. But call me, email me. I will try to answer them. Fort Worth people, are you okay with the maps? Yes. Yes, Mr. Chang. They don't hear me, so. Okay. All right. Well, I will see you Thursday. We'll take a test. And remember, fill up your one side of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, handwritten of anything, right? You work on your own, though. No helping, no working together to construct your sheet. So, all right. All right, Fort Worth people, you guys okay? Is that thumbs up?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're good.
we're gonna plan to study together.
Okay, but not working on the sheet together.
Right.
Okay, okay. All right, well, good luck.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, thank
Take
you.
care, Laurel. Take care of yourself, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. See you, Eric.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Yeah, again, I didn't know if you could.
So
in
I
the
wondered about
future-
this thing. So one thing about the cable. Let me have you log in. There. Is it does seem to make the screen smaller. So it may be that when you when this thing got connected, let's say stop that. Okay. So when the cable is connected and the Polycom thing is off, I'm gonna close it. Then you hit the content button. I guess you do when there's somebody on there. I can connect my. Bring up the.
Yes, I saw you logged on.
I can see you. So you can show content. Can you see me? It was working before.